have the secret. A lot of people know, but there's some people who don't know. And the secret is that we are moving to Spain. Hi, this is so friggin' weird. I always wonder what it's like for YouTubers to sit and just stare at a camera and talk. And it's as weird as I thought it would be. I'm really bad at putting things off until I feel like everything's perfect. I've read and watched so many things about starting a YouTube channel, and the number one thing everybody says is just start. So here is my first video. So my family figured this out, or we told them a really long time ago, like back in January, February. And then a global pandemic hit and suddenly everything changed and we did not know when we were going to be able to move. This entire time we've been just sitting on our hands trying to figure out what's happening next and when we're going to be able to go. And it's been really hard and frustrating, but also exciting, because if you have to be locked down at home waiting for the world to restart and wondering when life will get back to normal, it sure helps knowing that when the time is right, you'll be moving to Spain. I suppose I should back up and tell you how this all came about and why. So my husband's company has offices in Malaga, Spain, and he's been over there a number of times for work. They had the aspirations of opening their own office there in a different branch of the company, and when those talks became serious, they needed somebody to get that office up and running. He's always said that he liked Spain, and I have been to Spain twice with him visiting and always loved the area. And when we've been there, we stop at the real estate offices and look at the listings in the window and kind of dream about what it would be like to live there. And I always said if we had the chance, I would love to go. But we never really said that thinking that it would possibly happen. And then he came home one day and he said, "So we're opening an office in Malaga and they want me to go." And I looked at him and said, "That's awesome, when are we going?" Because I knew in my heart that it was just something we had to do. So he said, "Well, how long do you think they want me to go for?" And I said, "Well, maybe 6 months." He was like, "A little longer." "Oh, how long?" And he said, "Well, they are thinking a year to start." And again, I was like, okay, sounds good to me. Let's jump on a plane and go. And this was in February. We had heard of the coronavirus. The pandemic wasn't yet officially a pandemic, and we knew things were bad in other places, but never in our wildest dreams did we imagine that the entire world would turn into what it has in the last 9 months. So we immediately started looking at our options to sell our house and starting to do some renovations. We called a realtor and she talked us through what we had to do to get the house ready to sell. We told our family we were moving. I toyed with telling my job because I do work part-time as an admin assistant, and I really was aching to tell them that I was quitting and moving, but I was given some good advice by a couple coworkers that it was best if I didn't let the secret out. Which is why I started off saying this was a secret, because while a lot of our closest friends and family do know what's going on, I have not told my bosses at work, so this is why it's still a bit of a secret. Obviously, I'm putting this on the internet and telling my story, so there's a possibility that somebody might stumble upon it and realize my secret, but if that's what happens, then so be it. I don't think that there's any problem with them knowing per se, it's just I don't want to cause stress to them about knowing they would have to replace me before it becomes time. And because of this crazy pandemic, we still don't really know when we're actually going to be going. Even though we are 100% certain this will be happening and we are preparing accordingly, it's still very much an unknown target because we are just about to apply for our visa. And there's a few months of waiting time with that, and we don't know how this pandemic will affect the turnaround time on these types of applications. We don't know when it will be safe to go because Spain is not in a very good place right now, as with most of Europe. Things are a little bit uncertain, and we live in a place where there is virtually no coronavirus. We're in the safest place just about in the world right now. And I'm so thankful for that. And it gives us so much more freedom than people in other places have. And we're very comfortable with our freedom. And as much as Spain is beautiful and it's got the dream lifestyle, I don't want to get on a plane and travel to Europe, sell our house and move there, and have to be locked down again and not be able to leave our apartment. Living in 600 to 800 square feet together, just the two of us, my husband working from home and me not having a job and just trying to get settled and learn Spanish and figure out our lives there. It sounds like a daunting thing on a normal day, but to add in a pandemic, possible health problems, if we were to catch coronavirus, which neither of us have had, learning our way around there in the middle of this sounds really scary. And because we have our beautiful home here and our comfort and our safety, we don't want to risk that. When will we be going? Our target at the moment is about February, because we figure that's the soonest we'll have all our paperwork completed and actually have our visas that will allow us to go. But we don't know if that's realistic, and nobody knows. And that's like the name of the game for everybody in this entire world right now, is nobody knows what's actually going to be happening and when. But we're gonna take our chances and go ahead with the paperwork. We're still getting things finished with our house renovations. Everything's basically done. I'm just dragging my feet and procrastinating on a few last renovations. So that will need to be finished off so we can get the house up on the market. Right now it's a really, really hot real estate market where we live. So we're hoping we can get everything finished up, list our house, and go to Spain soon enough that we can take advantage of the really good market. We're really excited to go. And we're hoping we can make the most of our house sale and pack our things up and put it all into storage. We're gonna get rid of a lot of things that we don't have any strong emotional attachments to, like large pieces of furniture that are pretty old and outdated or just well used. We want to minimize the amount of storage space that we actually need, because that keeps the cost down. And because we're going for a year to start, which is what we've agreed to do, we don't know when we'll be back or if we'll be back. It's a little bit scary for our family to hear that we are thinking we might not be back, but I don't want to say that we aren't, because we don't know what the future will hold. We may decide that we don't like it in Spain, or that we miss Nova Scotia too much, or that we miss being by our family. Maybe something will change with Trevor's job. There's lots of reasons why Canada is an amazing, amazing place to be, especially here in Nova Scotia where our friends and family are. And I know we're gonna miss it here. Definitely gonna be homesick at times. So we're not committing to too much. We're just gonna wait and see how it plays out, but we're committing to 1 year to start. So get rid of the house. We don't wanna have to deal with renting it or having ties here that we have to deal with if there's emergencies. And then we'll just go and sort of look at it like starting a new life in Spain from fresh. And if we decide we're gonna stay, then maybe we'll ship over some of our belongings and get things settled there. To start, we'll have a furnished rental apartment in downtown Malaga and see where we go from there. So there's so much more to tell, lots of detail to talk about, the process, the journey, the time frames, current affairs in the world, like where this virus is and how it's affecting our timelines, the real estate market. There's so much that I can tell you, and I don't want to say it all in the first video because it would make this video way too long. I feel like right now I'm just rambling on, and I'm sure every YouTuber feels that way. And maybe I'll edit this down and it'll only be 5 minutes of talking, but getting my groove, figuring out where this all goes and how I want to break it up. I'm really excited to talk more about the process, and hopefully somebody can learn something or just live vicariously. So many people don't have a lot of prospects right now as far as like change in their future, because nobody knows when this pandemic will be over and things will go back to normal, if they ever do. So I think a lot of people are craving the excitement of change because it's not an option for most people right now. Or they're suffering through change that they don't really like, it was forced on them because of this pandemic. I think people might enjoy hearing about what's coming for us. And like I said, just living vicariously. That's the end of this video. If you want to follow along on the journey, hit subscribe below and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video. I cannot promise how soon or when that's going to be or what schedule I'm going to be on. Consistency has always been a real struggle for me, so I'm hoping that I can take this really seriously and stick to a schedule and make this commitment to building my channel and building my subscriber base and having you to communicate with and hold me accountable and give me consistency when things are going to be really crazy while we're moving and while we're in Spain. So learning the culture and the language, it's gonna be a whole wild journey, and I'm excited to share. I'll see you in the next video, and if you have any questions or ideas for things you want me to talk about or have topic ideas for videos upcoming, leave them in the comments below, and I cannot wait to get to know you and build an audience. Goodbye.